This is your line set. Like I said, this thing by itself, $100. This by itself, $500. Don't throw it away. Don't lose it. They are replaceable, but not cheap. Okay? Can be cleaned. Should not be coming into contact with any blood, but you know how it is in the back of the truck. Should be able to clean it fairly well. Shouldn't be any major issues with that. So this, however, is single use only, and so is this. Okay. For this drip set, this Y tubing, just like the tubing that we talked about before. Inside this drip chamber is your filter, so that's your 200 micron filter. All right. And then down here is your fill chamber with that check valve that I was telling you about. It's just a little bulb. When you get fluid in here, the ball will float up to the top here. If your fluid gets beyond that, it'll fall down to the bottom, and you see how that little cup right there just sits in the bottom, and it'll actually cut off the flow going into the line set, so you won't get any air in it. Okay. You do have individual roller clamps for each side, so you can hook everything up all at once if you want to, and that's fine. But make sure you do not open the blood before you open the saline. All right. Ideally, you wouldn't hook up the blood until you have the line set primed with your saline. Okay, just that way, so nobody makes a mistake. You didn't, close off the roller clamp or whatever the case may be. And as soon as you spike the bag and flip it over, all of a sudden you got blood flowing onto a dry filter. We don't want that to happen. We don't want to have that happen. So, like I said, ideally set up your saline, prime the set, then hook up your blood. But so when you do fill this up, you need to cover the entire filter, all right, with your saline. And then once you start flowing the blood, it'll fill all the way up to the top as well, okay? Don't want it to get dry, because obviously what does dry blood want to do?
Coagulate.
Clot, right? Coagulate, clot. All right, now, unlike most other drip sets, this drip set will not free flow, okay? You cannot gravity feed it. You have to work the plunger to make it operate. It has threads on it. It looks like it disconnects, but when we talk to the training staff and the medics at Grady, every time they talk about trying to take this syringe off of here, it broke the set. So don't bother trying to disconnect it. I don't know if it's glued in there or what, but it's not coming off without breaking something, okay? Same thing for both sides, okay? Somebody was asking yesterday, couldn't we just hook up, like a 60 cc and push more and do all that kind of shit? No, can't disconnect this. This is what you have to use, and this fits directly into the gun, okay? Which I'll show you that in a second. You have your secondary clamp down here at the bottom, and then this right here, and I'll show you how it works. This is a pressure diffuser, all right? So if you get a kink in the line, whether it be in the IV, patient's arm bends, something like that, in order to prevent the line set from blowing, any of your connections blowing, potentially losing blood products and things like that, they put in this pressure diffuser. It's basically a tube inside the tube, and the walls of that inner tube are much thinner than the rest of it. So if you start to get a back pressure, like with a kink in the line, and you're sitting here steadily pumping into it, what it does is it diffuses that pressure across the whole length of this tube, so that when the kink gets undone, you don't get a sudden just shot of fluid being dumped into the patient. So that way it keeps your pressures more consistent, if that makes sense, okay? So you'll pull this out like your normal type drip set, but what you want to do is make sure that you hook this up before you start to prime it, because you need to prime this as well, okay? Remember what I said, there's about 21 feet of tubing that's coiled up inside of this that has to be primed before you hook it up to the patient. So you'll hook this up here, and you can do this, sorry, that is not, the hell, oh, it's got a cap on it. There we go. All right, so take the cap off, and then screw it in. It's just your standard lure lock type, okay? And like I said, you can do this without it hooked up. You can do it with it hooked up. It doesn't matter. Got a sticker right here, making it firefighter proof, letting you know that it needs to be facing the same side as your control panel for the module. So turn it on, or turn it around, set it on there. Make sure you have a good connection, and then strap it down, okay? You don't have to turn it on yet. You can turn it on if you want to, just to get it preheated. Go ahead and power it on. Now for the gun, it does have a locking mechanism on the side, just like every other toy gun or real gun out there in the world. But you can also disengage it by just squeezing it, and it will open it all the way, okay? Open this from the top. It's just got little spring clamps right there on the sides. And then if you look, this three-way, you got the plunger, your line set is in line with that, but then your supply comes into the side. This gun has a port on one side, but it does not have it on the other. So when things get a little frisky in the back of the truck, and you gotta set this thing in here and you can't get it to close, it's probably because you just need to have it flipped over. Once you get it flipped over and it's oriented properly, the flange for the syringe will sit there, and then you just squeeze the trigger so that the back side of the plunger also sits in its groove. And then when you release it, it pulls the plunger back, okay? Close that off, and you're off to the races, okay? I'll go ahead and set up the saline and then show you guys how that flows, but once I spike the blood, it's already spiked, I can't unspike it, so. And the manufacturer says that an unexperienced person should be able to set this up within 3 minutes after being taught how to do it. And then once you get comfortable with it, what they're finding is that it takes less than a minute to get it all set up once you're familiar with it. Like I said, all your clamps are closed. Downstream, I want to keep that open. And then I also got a 20 gauge so that y'all can see how fast this thing will actually flow through a 20 gauge. We didn't do that yesterday, and it was flowing really well. So we'll set that down there. And then we can start to fill everything up once I open up the clamp there. So you see how that check valve is stuck down at the bottom? When you have this set up, when the system's dry, that ball's probably gonna start sitting down there. So, and Grady also said that they had issues with this initially until everybody got familiar with it. They set everything up, they fill up the drip chamber to the top, and they're like, well, but I can't get it to flush, I can't get anything to go down. If I sit here and squeeze this right now, nothing happens, right? It's literally just pulling it backwards through the line set, okay? So to get that to release, all you do is squeeze at the bottom where it says release, and now all of a sudden, I'm starting to prime my set, okay? So now we're all primed and ready to go. Now all you have to do, hook up your blood, cut off your saline, open up the roller clamp, and you're off to the races, okay? You want one of them to do it, or you want me to do it?
No, just show us.
Okay. All right, so. Bag spiked. Line set's open. Now, all the saline that's in the line set, it's obviously not very much. It's not gonna hurt the patient. You know, we're not thinning them out that much with the amount that's in there, okay? But with one pull, I've already got blood in the chamber, okay?
Warm Kool-Aid. People Kool-Aid.
Yeah, and it's warm, yep. right? So I know that it's warming because I got the solid green check, right? During that warm-up process, it'll blink. Once it's solid, you're good to go, okay? Obviously, if you've got it all set up, it's warming up, I don't think I would wait to start administering it to the patient if it's still warming up. I'm just gonna go ahead and start giving it to them, okay? But every time you squeeze it, that's 10 cc's that you're giving, okay? You've only got 500 in the bag, 50 pulls, you got an empty bag, okay? Y'all come check it out, see it, whatever you wanna do with it. Y'all watch it blow up, see how it goes up like that?
Yeah.
They get stronger.
Oh yeah, it gets stronger, but compared to what it would be without it, if you're just sitting there pressurize it, one of these connections is gonna blow.
Jesus Christ, am I weak?
So,
There's not a lot of effort. Remember, this is the $500 thing. This is a one-time use, the top. So when you disconnect, you're done with the blood. Show me what you would take into the hospital.
Just that.
So you disconnect this, take this out of the, you can pop that out.
Yep.
Take this out, disconnect that, okay? That should come right up, right? And you can take that all into the hospital, all with that, but you don't wanna take this in and you don't wanna take that in. All right, so that's how you're gonna go into the hospital,
Right.
with this already hooked, right?
Now,
Right.
will that free flow? They said this system won't free flow. So,
It won't free flow, but say your syringe got broken. You could sit there manually and do this, okay?
but I guess my question is, if we're disconnected from the blood, we should just be able to take this off the patient and leave all this in the patient.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have to break it down like that.
No, this can all go in with the patient.